Good morning, traders. This is your morning market breakdown. On the daily time frame, on the GBP US dollar, we can see that we are trending down. We have some very key core breaks of structure, full body candle breaks. What we're currently seeing is the price has come down. It has now come back up. The price is currently pushing itself back up, which I believe is up to almost to the 0.5 fib. So we could see a potential push just a little bit higher before then ultimately falling down. And so what my target is aiming for this weekly demand zone. So I believe that the price is going to come down. It's coming up. It might push a little bit further before then ultimately falling again toward this weekly demand zone. So I'm currently bearish on the GBP US dollar, and I'm currently looking for those short positions. Once the price does re-enter into this weekly demand zone, I will then start looking for long positions. Over onto the Euro US dollar, we are descending very, very nicely. This is a very long play, but as I mentioned on the live stream and on our previous daily market analysis, that we're looking at short on the Euro US dollar. This is our target at the moment, our unverified daily demand zone. If we zoom down, or if we drop down into the lower time frames, so on the 4 hourly frames, we can see that the price is failing to break these previous highs. It's creating more breaks of structure into the downside. We've got these descending lows here, and so this is relatively quite promising that we'll likely see the price re-enter into that daily demand zone. And if it does, then hopefully we will be looking then for long positions. So we're still very short on the euro dollar. Again, we'll see what the reaction is like when it enters into that daily demand zone. If the reaction is good and we're starting to see a potential reversal, then I'll change gears and enter into a long position. On the USD JPY, we are moving again into the right direction of where we wanted to go from those live stream sessions. This was the overall target, back up to the 160 level, and we're slowly moving there. But as I said before, I'm not really too focused on USD JPY at the moment because of all of the manipulation. And yes, there is manipulation. You can see it very clearly here. And the Bank of Japan has, I think, got their second strike by the IMF. So we don't want to be playing around too much with this currency pair. I took in quite a high risk here of just entering into this position a couple of days ago, and I'm just waiting to see whether or not it plays out. Hopeful that it will push up before the Bank of Japan steps in again and manipulates the market again to push it again into the downside. So I'm not really playing with this currency pair at this point in time so much. Heading over to the DXY, we are in an uptrend over here. We are seeing that the price is producing higher highs. We've got some very nice breaks of structures here. So we're breaking structure here. We're failing to break into a lower low, which is good. That means the DXY may continue into the upside. We are struggling within this area of resistance. Once this area of resistance is broken, we are likely going toward this previous potential supply zone, this untested zone here. And that would be my general play on the DXY, that we're ultimately in an uptrend. We're ultimately going to be pushing up higher. If we see that there is a peace deal, and I think we're getting there very slowly in terms of the US, then what we could also see is, of course, the price pushing a little bit, pushing down again. And this will play very nicely into our other major currency pairs like the euro dollar and the GBP USD, because once they hit into those daily demand zones, the reversal may happen. So we could see that the DXY pushes up, which pushes our euro dollar and GBP down into those daily demand zones, and then maybe some announcement will come out in terms of a peace deal being formed, and then we'll see the DXY dropping down, ultimately causing that reaction on the GBP and the euro dollar demand zones to push it up. So that's what I am looking out for at the moment. I'm not trading DXY. I'm just using that as an extra level of confluence for my other major pair trading. Let's head over to gold. So we are pushing down. We're in a downtrend on gold. I was hoping that we would see a deeper push, of course, because I was in that short position. It did come down. Unfortunately, I didn't close that position. Patience is really a key skill in trading, but sometimes can come back and bite you, like it has here. I'm still hopeful that the price will re-enter into this daily. I think it's the daily demand. A verified daily demand zone down here. So I'm still waiting for gold to push lower. And if we see the DXY pushing up higher, which I'm quite hopeful that it will do, then we should see gold push into this daily demand zone. If it doesn't push into this daily demand zone, then I need to recalibrate or redo a technical analysis on how I'm running, playing with gold. But what I am ultimately waiting for is for this to push down. It clearly did come down. Unfortunately, it started pushing up nearer to my stop loss, and now it's starting to push down again. So I'll be quite cautious. What I would wait for is, as we can quite clearly see, this is struggling to be broken. This is struggling to be broken, and the higher high is struggling to be broken. So we're in a very precarious market, right? So what I'll be waiting to see is hopefully this holds up. We can continue down. We might see a pullback to whatever caused this to break, and then we might see that pushing down. So in fact, I should really be exiting this position and waiting for that setup to come to fruition. However, that's my play on gold at the moment. I'm bearish on gold. I'm analyzing that it will continue going down. If it doesn't, then of course I need to recalibrate my technical analysis on gold. BTC is pushing up. Luckily, yes, it is. It's in a very slow climb though. However, we did originally anticipate that the price was going to come down into this area and then push itself back up. Let me zoom back out to the daily frame of what we are looking at. So technicals seem to be playing very nicely here, where we have this strong push up, breaking the market structure, and this creates this huge zone here as our potential daily demand. And we can actually see what is happening is that the price had come into this daily demand. It is having that reaction, and that's why previously I analyzed my previous technical analysis was the price was going to retrace back into this area down here, back into this zone, before then pushing up again. So that is what I'm waiting for at the moment. In fact, this seems to be a very good zone to potentially look for those long positions, because I am hopeful that BTC will eventually break this previous high. So I wouldn't be upset if I entered into a long position and I got stopped out from here. I think this is a relatively good setup in my opinion. Of course, if you drop down into the lower frames, you may want to wait for an extra level of confluence. But what we can see is the price had pushed up. It's broken the market structure. It has formed this new demand. It had come round. There was a reaction, a retest to that daily demand, and now we're pushing up again. So these are the things that I wait for and look for, and it seems to have played out very nicely there. So, like I said, I wouldn't be upset if I entered into this position and got stopped out. I think this is a high probability position. Anyway, traders, there it is. That is your daily market breakdown. Thank you for watching.